What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So tomorrow is the start of the NBA season, which means the fantasy basketball season starts tomorrow. Super excited, can't wait for it. And I just wanted to do a quick video on what I think is players to sort of watch or keep your eye on for week one, because in my opinion, you've got players that you have that you always think about whether you should keep or drop. Then you've got players you want to trade for. Those are like a lot of where your energy goes towards. But I think players to watch is sometimes, and when I say watch, this is not just trades, this is of players off the waiver wire. I think it's super important. So because they're going to be the easier opportunities to get. Trying to trade for players isn't always easy, because even if you have great trades, sometimes managers don't want to let players go. So in my opinion, players to watch off the waiver wire is really, really important. That's what's going to set your season going forward as well, especially over the first few weeks, because you get a gauge of what players you want, what players you don't want, what builds you're going for, and then you can dive right into the waiver wire and take more risks as well. So my video today is going to focus on the top players to watch from the waiver wire as well. Not just from the waiver wire, but I guess players that aren't like, your top tier players, and therefore a little bit easier to get even via trade or mainly off the waiver wire. And then number two is just going to be a couple of other players that I think are important to watch, but I'm not super keen on them, but we'll see what happens as well. This is just my perspective and my opinion. So top players to watch in week one for me, these are the things that I'm looking for. There could be a few others as well as we go on. I'm pretty sure I've missed a few, but who gets the most usage after James Harden? I just think that LA Clippers situation is so up in the air, and I'll be looking at Powell, KPJ, Bones Highland, and Terrence Mann. So I personally don't think Bones Highland's going to get, even though he can be a lot of fantasy value, I just think he's forever not really that keen on by Ty Lue, so I think he's not going to get a lot of it, but I still think he'll get some of them. Terrence Mann, he's your glue guy. He doesn't have too much fantasy value. I think he's going to get a ton of minutes, but it's not going to translate anything. We've seen it in the past, but you never know. Maybe he's taking a leap in the offseason. It's just something to keep an eye on. Norm Powell, KPJ, they're the main two guys. Norm Powell's going to start. KPJ is going to come off the bench. I think that's not going to change during the season at all, and I think KPJ is going to take a lot of that bench scoring and the bench usage, probably more than Powell, who's going to still be relying on James Harden to set him up. So I think Powell's still good for maybe 14 points a game. I think KPJ is going to be the one that's going to get you points, rebounds, assists, sort of like 14-4-4 is what I think at a low end, and he's going to get you a lot of steals, 1.2, 1.3 steals, and a couple threes as well. So KPJ, I think he's the one, but I would like to really monitor that situation, because there's also guys like Amir Coffey and other guys as well. You never know if Jordan Miller starts to get a chance. It might eat into all their usage as well, and none of them may be that useful going forward. So I think that situation is really important to look at as well. The second one is how many minutes does Kai Jones have? This is again a Clippers player. I think with Bamba out for a while, I haven't seen the extent of the injury. I've got to read about it, but with Bamba out for a while and only Zubats is the main guy, I think Kai Jones is definitely going to get at least 8 to sort of like 17, 18 minutes a game, and I think he's good for at least 2 stocks with that. So if you're in like a punt points, or you have a sort of last player that you can just ignore the points and just take stocks, man, he's going to be really good. So we'll see, but I'm really trying to monitor him the first few games, and I think he's going to be the first center off the bench. Not only in those small ball type lineups, I think he could even play in the bigger lineups as well. Not that he's a great defender on the bigger guys. Ty Lue does tend to go small as well, so he's like a lot of history with that. So I can see Kai Jones getting like sort of like 17, 18 minutes a game, and maybe even close to low 20s as well on average. But we'll see what happens when Bamba's back, but I think it's something to monitor. Next one up is Trey Mann. So has Trey Mann been given the keys to the 6-man role? Last year, he sort of died down after Micic sort of took that starting point guard role off him. But I think Micic, we'll see what happens, but I think personally from Charles Lee, the new Hornets coach, I think that he's got a chance to really take that 6-man role and be the first guy off the bench that's going to get a lot of the ball. So we'll watch that, but I think that if he gets a good 25 minutes a game with being in that 6-man role, that main primary 6-man, I think you're looking at good 12, 13 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and a couple, like 1.3 threes. And again, that's steals. So he's got a great steals rate per minute. So I think that's where his value is really going to come in strong, as long as he gets usage in minutes. Next guy, Carl Anderson. What is his usage going to be like? I was pretty high on him and actually drafted him in a few of my leagues with our last pick, but he did not look great in the preseason. Not that he didn't look great, he actually looked great, but it's just that they play such a system role, and it's just so many guys that use the ball there that he was getting a lot of hockey assists and things like that, which obviously don't count in fantasy, or in NBA stats. So I'm just going to see whether or not that was an anomaly. He did play a lot of low minutes, but Steve Kerr had a lot of high praise for him. So we'll see what that big man rotation is going to look like. He's going to back up the power forward spot to start off with, it looks like. So he's going to back up Draymond Green. But again, that bench role, it's hard to see who's going to be there as well. And if there's no other playmakers there, he may get a lot of the usage, and he may end up, getting averaging five assists a game with like 1 steal, 1 block, and that would be great if he can play that sort of position in that team. But we'll see what minutes he gets. I think it's he could go either way. He could either be completely useless in fantasy, or he could be really, really good as a last end of bench guy to give you a bit of everything in terms of categories only. In every other league, I don't think he's very useful. Benedict Mathurin, like last year, I honestly, even with all the new guys, I thought he was going to take a bit of a leap. He still did well for considering how much usage he had to share. He looks like a crazy scorer. He's got a lot of potential, and you see it when you watch him. And third year guys tend to take a leap, and you know, he could be that, but it's just his usage and minutes is so hard in that team because it's just, again, a system-based team that is determined by the point guard. So he may be stuck at 14 points a game. We'll see what happens, but I could see him also getting to 17 points a game on really good efficient percentages. And if he does, I think even in categories, you have to get a look at him, because good percentages and free throws and points, it's hard to ignore even if you're not going for those categories. And the last one, does Jalen Smith finally get consistent minutes? Does he use it? So we saw in Indiana he wasn't getting consistent minutes. In Phoenix, obviously, there was times where he did, when someone was injured, and he did well with it. So I personally think that was the reason he didn't do that well in Indiana, even when he got the starter minutes, which was rare, like due to an injury or something. But we'll see what happens backing up Vucevic, if he gets the low 20s in the minutes and what he does with it. I think this is his last chance. If he doesn't really perform with the consistent minutes, if he gets consistent minutes at it, then I think it's time to sort of move on from him. Again, this is not, by the way, I just wanted to say that this is not all going to be the first week. You're not going to judge the play in the first week and be like, you know, that's it, I'm going to make a decision. It's just something to monitor from the first week. There'll be more things to monitor as the weeks go on, and I'll do some more videos on that as well. Other things to look for as well is, how does Brooklyn's usage look like outside Cam Thomas? Probably Cam Johnson as well, and Dennis Schroeder. So we'll see what their bench is going to look like and whether there's any value at all. I think Zaire Williams may have some value, but that's about it. How does OKC handle the Hartenstein injury? They got no one outside Jalen Williams at that center spot, and he's injured as well, I think, to start the season. So we'll see how that looks and what they do. Chet Holmgren is obviously going to start the center, but the backup is what I'm talking about mainly. Who shines in Boston's center rotation? So you got Cornet, Xavier Tillman, and then Quaiters. So I think it's going to be between one of them, really the first two probably, but I think that it's going to be different based off the matchup. But it'll be interesting to see whether Cornet gets a lot of that minutes. Again, sorry, outside Al Horford, I should say, because Al Horford's still going to rest on this back-to-backs. I think Cornet could get around 18 to 22 minutes a game until Porzingis comes back. Peyton Watson, not very much talked about, but he has a lot of potential in my opinion, just as Strother does, except Strother's not that great in category leagues because he only scores. Peyton Watson can get you a lot of stocks, and we'll see what happens. He didn't really play in the preseason. I think he's starting as well, potentially injured. I can't remember based off the news, but we'll see what he does if he's going to get the chance to play. And the last one is, does the Thins Cavs guard spot depth reveal any opportunities? So they've only got Craig Porter Jr. and was it Ty Jerome off the bench, and Kenny Atkinson had a lot of praise for Ty Jerome, so did Darius Garland. So we'll see whether it's Ty Jerome, and if it is Ty Jerome, whether he plays that sort of combo role off the guard, because he could be good for sort of like 13 points, 4 or 5 assists, and he could be useful in some leagues as well. So we'll see what happens. I just think that they are very thin at a lot of spots, and I think where teams are thin, you've got to monitor them, because where minutes and usage can arise, anyone can take them and run with it. It may not start off like that, but it can, after a couple of games, weeks, it can really, someone can take this and become a bit more consistent. So those are my things that I'm looking forward to for week 1. There's probably a few that I'm missing, but we'll see how the stories and the teams go as the narratives start to reveal themselves. But let me know if you guys think that there's anything else that's important to look at. I would love to know as well, because everyone has a different perspective, and that's the beauty of fantasy basketball. Everyone can have something that's unique, a perspective that other people aren't looking at. So let us know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you got some value from the video. Hope it helped you out, and definitely be on the lookout for more videos. As I said, on this channel, I do videos that are about 10 minutes, around 10 minutes or less, and I'm going to be doing my new normal weekly videos as well, which is going to be your waiver wire ads and buy low, sell high type videos as well. So look forward for them. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Thank you so much for your time today, and hope you have a great day. Take it easy. Bye.